I predict that you are going to fall in love with Butterfly Blush from our friends at Hunkydory. I'll tell you, Heidi certainly did, and we'll share lots of creativity with you, so please come play with us. Well, let me give you a glimpse at all of the pieces of this collection. And by the way, we put them into two different money savers just to kind of keep those dollars down. But we're going to start with the Butterfly Blush Topper Collection. Now, this has 100 foiled die cuts, 8 foiled cardstock, 8 printed cardstock, and as you can see, some ideas are always included. We also have the 8x8 butterfly blush. Now this has 48 sheets in it. There are 12 designs and you get 4 of each one. Then there is something different. I think you can see it through the packaging, but I'll show it to you what Heidi used. This is called edge-to-edge foiling, and that's because the foiling does go across the full sheet. Now there's 16 sheets with 4 designs, and you're going to get 4 of each one. The adorable scoreable, as we would always expect, there's 30 sheets. There are 10 colors, and you get 3 of each one. Now we also have the foiled acetate, and I'm going to bring white in here, although that doesn't help a whole lot, does it? But I'll show you some of the images. And this, as you can tell, has got pink foiling. So it's pink on one side and gold on the other. How fun is that? Okay, then we also have the inserts. And like I said, this artwork is so very special. This has 36 sheets. There are 3 each of 12 designs. Now, we have a Miri cardstock. Now, Miri, as you know, M-I-R-R-I, is very highly reflective, and it looks beautiful with this blush. But we have it in the plain color, well, the solid color, and there are 20 sheets here. They're all the same color because the blush is what goes through this whole collection. And then there's also this. These are textured. Again, I'll be sharing some of these individual ones with you as we go through Heidi's projects. However, there is a product video on every single product page on our website. Okay, so all of that. Now let's get into the goodies, and we'll get in close just so that we can really see these. And this begins, in fact, even closer. Thank you, Steve. This is a 5x5 card, and Heidi has done some really different things on this. So let me show you what she used. She started off with our regular cards and simply trimmed it down to be 5x5. Then she covered the front of that. This is one of the textured Miri. So you see the Miri, the super shiny. This has dots, and they are all debossed, so they're all kind of going in. And that's what she used to cover her card front, just like so. Okay, now, what else she has done, let me show you the other things that she's using. I'll get that out of the way. This is the topper sheet. And as you can see, this is the collection of toppers that she's using. But before we get there, let me show you the coordinating printed cardstock. Now, she used the top part of it in covering the front of her card. Or well, she covered the card with the textured, but then she cut a smaller piece and placed it. So you can see that this edge of these tiny flowers is over here. Now, she took this piece of the foiled, let me put white under it so you can really take advantage of it, and you can see that really delicate border. And like I said, it's pink on one side and it's gold on the other, so you kind of can't go wrong with that. And she placed this on top of the piece so that you get the butterflies kind of fluttering over those little tiny flowers. So that's really nice and kind of different too. And so you just remember that you want the watering can matches the topper, and you're going to go in the upper left-hand corner, and that's going to place that smaller piece on the front of her card. Now, she also did some different things with those die-cut topper pieces. So as you can see, there's that outer ring that has the flowers, the inner ring that is the blush, and then the center one. So what she did is she kind of offset all 3 of them. So the largest one was glued more toward the left. The center one was glued clear over here to the right and then cut off even with the card. Then this was foam taped in the middle. So that just creates a really fun front that's surprisingly different, and that's nice. With love and best wishes, that was foam taped right there. And then the bow, as you would expect, is out of the light pink ribbon collection. But we're not done. So you've got several layers going on, and that's really fun. On the inside, so she used the insert. Now, what the insert does is, as you know, it's a ghosted back image of what was done on the front. But you see the watering can here is pointing to the left. Well, on the insert, it's pointing to the right. That's just a nice juxtaposition of the artwork, and I do appreciate that. Now, this piece right here, that is going to be one of the border with the butterflies on top. So again, from that foiled acetate, and then 2 more of the toppers and another one of the bows. So everything is used on the front and on the inside, as we would expect. And it does a really nice job. So the color scheme in this, in fact, I would like to just kind of talk about that for a moment. As you can see here, it's going to be pinks and yellows, a little bit of peach in there, and they're just bright and sunshiny and pretty, and it's really nice, especially if it's cold where you are. Now we're going to go to the second card, and let me show it to you. This is our standard 5 by 6.5 inch card, and Heidi created her card base out of the solid Adorable Scoreable. So she used the yellow, and she cut this to be 10 inches long and 6.5 inches tall. So did that, and then she used the Adorable Scoreboard, which is the one that has all the score lines in it, and the tool to fold that in, score it in half and fold it in half. Now, the next thing that she did is that she took the, again, this is the foiled cardstock, so you can see the foiling on the edges, but she also, this is the one that matches this topper set. Okay, so this is what she's going to use on the front of that card and on the inside. But we're going to take this and going to use this corner. So I thought it was really clever of her to use that on the front of the card. And so you're going to be cutting the piece right here. It's smaller than the card. The measurements, as you know, down below the webisode where you're watching this, you can see all the projects. Just click on this one, and then it will take you to where the directions are. They're over on the right-hand side, and you'll get all the measurements if you want to make it just perfectly the way Heidi did, so that's kind of fun. So this piece is going to get cut out. Now she did something else, is that she cut a piece just a slit right there. She did that because she knew she wanted to tuck this arch-shaped topper inside. But she also did something else, and I'm not sure if we can see. Steve, if you can get in just really super, super tight. This is just a little design detail that I really love. And can you see those little white leaves right there? So what she did is she cut around them, okay? Thank you, Steve. Now we're going to go back too. So after she placed this and got it all ready, she cut or glued the border, this border right here. So if you elect to trim around those leaves, you want to lift them up so they can go right on top of that border. So it's just nice, okay? Now, you do want to, when you're gluing this down, just glue it at the ends, because you don't want to glue that strip together, because that slit, because you've already cut it, okay? So you want to cut the slit, glue this just at the ends, and then you can tuck that topper in place. And she used the one with the cake, and you can see it right there. And then the other cake is right here, so that's been foam taped on top. And the Enjoy Your Day has been double foam taped on top. Okay, so that works really nicely. Now, that piece has not been glued to the card yet, okay? So all we did was we made our card, but we've been working on this piece in the middle. So you've got the slit, you've got all of those on. Then Heidi went into the yellow ribbon assortment, and you can see that she wrapped this ribbon twice around this piece, and has that all ready to be matted onto the Mary cardstock. Now this is the Mary without the texture, but you can see, well, you can see on the card how perfectly it matches the foiling on the toppers. So that's, as we would expect, perfectly done. Okay, now let me scoot these out, and you're going to mat it on the topper, then you're going to glue it to your card front. Let's go on the inside. And on the inside, she also has made use of the insert. So here it is. Now she did glue it right along the edge, just inside, about an inch inside the fold, okay, to the right of the fold. That way, she really wanted that image to be in the center of her card, so that allowed her to do that. So then she went back into the tools that she's just used, that yellow adorable scorable that she used. So she cut a piece and then cut a strip of the Mary to go on top of it. And then you can see how these pieces were just glued flat. Now, the thing that she added both on the front of her card and on the inside was a pop of sunshine. In fact, it's the pixie petals, the sunshine pixie petals from 49 and Market. And don't they just pop the color, as with those pinks and yellows and oranges? Just really nice. So 3 on the front and 3 on the inside. Another little bow is zodded right there, and you have just a very sweet card. One other thing to point out is that, again, kind of looking at it, when you see it on the front, you see this cake right here. But when you see it on the inside, it's further down and it's larger. So it just is a nice transition. Okay, we have more. So let me show you what the woman has done now. Now, this card is a larger card. It is a 6x6 card. And this also has some of the textured Mary on it. You got a little taste of it, the first card. But here is what she has used. Now this has, it's kind of looks like dandelions to me, but you can see that there are flowers all over it. They are nicely embossed, really lovely. And that was used to cover the card front. Now, when I talk about covering a card front, what I mean is, take your adhesive. I like a glue stick, but you can use anything you want. Go right all around the edges, because we want to make sure we get a very secure adhesion there. I like to make a big X in the middle, and then I take my paper or my cardstock, lay it across the fold, even with one edge of the card, turn this over and press it down, and then I just trim it to fit. That way there's no measuring, and it always, always works. Okay, so that was our first step. Now there is the regular Mary that has been used here, and this piece has been cut. So we're going to go here for a minute and do this detail, because you can see it's also got ribbon attached to it. Now, this has been cut, and then she went into the 8x8 paper pad. So this is the image that she's used, and as you may remember, when I introduced that, it has multiple images of each page. So they are double-sided. So as a matter of fact, this one has this yellow on the back of it, and it has this little setting of a teacup and books and flowers, and of course butterflies on top of it. You do get 4 of each one, and Heidi has used that very well. So she has cut the Mary, as you can see. I think that is about 4, and no, it's a little bit less than that. I think it's about 4 by 4. Bear with me, okay? And that is going to go on the card. But first, this piece, and it's going to be this area right here, has been cut and glued only over on the left-hand side, which is clever because it allows her room to do the ribbon. So that works nicely. And because you have so many pieces of this, she has gone back and cut out individual elements, and she has foam taped them. In fact, she just did a couple of layers, and I think you can kind of see that dimension. She did use the foam squares because they are thinner, and it just gives you a little bit of lift. And you can do them multiple layers, as Heidi has done. Then she wrapped this with the orange and peach ribbon set. Now you could use the peach, you could use the pink, you could use the yellow. You can really use each of them on all of these projects, so that's a nice bonus. Now this piece is going to get foam taped onto an edge-to-edge cardstock. Now that's the foiling that goes edge to edge, and that's why it's titled edge to edge. And that piece is right under here. So this is going to get foam taped on top of this one, and of course onto the textured card front. Very, very nice. On the inside, this was clever, I thought. She went back to the same elements that she used on the front. So she cut two 3-inch wide pieces of the Miri and of the same textured Miri and put them together on the inside. Textured on the right, the Miri on the left, and then she took the edge-to-edge piece here, and then she matted it on the back side of this. This is the one she used on the front, but you've got plenty to mat that. And you can see that this is placed just off-center. She did do the ribbon again, and that does a nice finishing touch. Now on the dazzles, the Thinking of You, and the hugs, I didn't mention that on the front, did I? So you can see those hugs, and you can see Thinking of You. This is from the We're Together Dazzles. Now this has, it's called We're Together More Colors because it has brown, white, and gold and silver, looking at my notes on the back side. And you can see the white is there. And in our next card, you're going to see another version of the We're Together. So they just have all sorts of Missing You, Get Well, Thinking of You, Missing Our Time Together, all in several different fonts and several different methods, as I will show you. Okay, one more card. And in this one, Heidi has gone to a slimline card. So, but she made it herself. I think, Steve, we need to back up just a smidge, okay? Now with this, yeah, thank you, that's a good smidge. Now with this, she decided to make her own slimline card. Now you can do that, or you can use our regular slimline cards that have the envelopes. You can do whatever you want, of course. But in this case, I think it's nice just to see another option. And here is the adorable Scorable. This is the tan. And she cut it to be 7 inches by 8.5. Okay, so 7 inches by 8.5. Scored it in the middle with that adorable scoreboard and folded it. And that way she's going to have a 3.5 by 8.5 slimline card. And that's going to work quite perfectly. She's got it with the tan color. Let me just show you as these colors play out. I know you can see them on the card itself too, but just to give you a larger look. So that's what's going on. And she is also going to use more of the foiled acetate. So let's start here. So you've got your card. Then she's going to have you do a strip of the edge-to-edge cardstock. And there's going to be a little bit of matting on top of this orange adorable Scorable. Now when you're doing that, I think a good rule of thumb is, even though that's just about 1/4 inch wide, if you cut yourself a piece that's at least double that, so it's at least 1/2 inch, then it's going to be easier to place your patterned cardstock on top of it. It's going to be pretty hard to do it if it's really just 1/4 of an inch. So give yourself a little bit of leeway. And then you can see it is glued to the front of her card along the outside edge. Now, she went back into that same orange, and she's got 2 squares. You can see one on the top and one on the bottom. And then for the underneath part, you can see the foiled acetate on top, I think. But for the bottom piece, it comes from this piece out of the 8x8 pad. So she wanted a big, bold statement underneath, and then to let the smaller foiled butterflies kind of flutter on top. So this is one of the squares, and then right here is another of the squares. So you can see that right there, and you can see this right there. And then to go on top of them, this is another foiled that she used. I hope that's better to see. Again, it's the red, the blush, or the pink on top, and you got it, the gold on the back. So on top of this, after she does the square, she's going to do a square of the acetate and glue that on top. Now, if you're wondering about gluing acetate, you can do a couple of different things. My favorite is to use the glue stick and just put it underneath where there's images and then press it onto the paper. You can also use extra sticky tape and glue, again, do the same thing, put the tape underneath where there's artwork. That will work. You don't have to worry about gluing every bit of it down. That's what we have to do with paper, but you don't have to do that with the acetate. Let me just show you right here. So this piece, she put the adhesive underneath the art, but not every single bit of it. So this lifts up, and she's just placed both of them there. And this is foam taped about 3/4 of an inch from the top, and this one 3/4 of an inch from the bottom. That's going to give you space in the middle. You can go back and use the orange and peach ribbon to make a bow, and you're also just going to get this depth of imagery with those foiled butterflies on top. Just really fun. Now, I said something about the We're Together Dazzles. Now, the We're Together Dazzles originally came in black, and as I said, they come in stacked words, but they also come in script, so they come long. And friend and hi, now those aren't very long, but that's what she used on the front, so you can add your message into all that imagery. For the inside of the card, well, she went back to the same things, and she also used that same acetate. Now, you get multiple pieces of this, so you can use them in multiple ways, and you can see that she attached that right along the edge of her card, and then again layering and edging that edge-to-edge cardstock with the solid. Another little square done the same way. Hugs and hearts are dazzles are placed there, and another bow. So everything is just all coordinated. You can see, I think, why I predict that I think you're going to love this collection. Now, Hunkydory did a butterfly blue a year ago, but butterfly blush, I think it's just a wonderful collection. So we've got the toppers, we've got the 8x8, we've got textured Miri, which is unusual to have. I think we're going to have to back up to get all of these in. We've got the pink blush Miri, we've got the inserts. Yeah, you're going to have to back up, Steve. And we've got the foiled acetate in that gorgeous blush pink color. We've got the adorable scoreable, that's right. And we have the edge to edge. So a lot of very fun and very lovely products from our friends at Hunkydory. Well, thank you, Heidi. Once again, you've given us just a whole treasure trove of ideas and creativity. If you are watching this on YouTube and you like it, please hit that you like it and subscribe to our channel. We'd love to see you every single time. You know, we have nearly 20 webisodes every single month, so lots of stuff to share, and they're all brand new. And I do want to thank you for joining us, and most of all, for being part of our Paper Wishes family. We'll see you again.